Finally, we had been waiting to see electric car from the house of Volkswagen. That's all set to become a reality for the Indian market, not immediately, but going towards the end of this year, possibly towards the festive season. This is the ID4, but unfortunately might come to India as a CBU or a completely built unit. That means the pricing will not be under 30 lakh rupees. Even internationally, it's more in the range of the Ioniq 5, slightly lower than the Ioniq 5. So the Indian market will expect an ex-showroom price of 30 to 35 lakh rupees. What is different? Well, it's not a funky EV like some of the other options. It's a more subtle and a good-looking form, something that Volkswagen models are known for, like the Virtus and the Taycan. Not outwardly cool or sexy, but a nice looking crossover EV in my opinion. Up front, the talking point has to be the connected kind of DRLs. We've seen this on the rear of the same car and in other cars in the Indian market. This is completely connected, and of course we have these subtle looking DRLs coming in over here, and this is a funky and a cool add-on on the headlights. These are the IQ Light, as Volkswagen calls them. Of course, no fog lamps and a honeycomb kind of a pattern on the lower part of the ID4. Side profile, well, let's go to the other side. And on the side profile, the talking point has to be the large 19-inch alloy wheels. And like most EVs, even the pattern is to make sure it cuts through air in a very proper manner. These are Bridgestone tires on the media unit we see over here, and the tire size is 235 millimeters wide, 19-inch alloy wheels. Apart from that, it's a crossover, and to give it more of a appeal of SUV, it's got the matte black cladding on this part and on the lower part of the doors. Unfortunately, ground clearance is an issue, but Volkswagen has been testing the ID4 on Indian roads for a lot of months, and this might be raised for the Indian market when it goes on sale. The mirrors are pretty large for a car of this segment, and of course they have indicators on the outside. I don't seem to find any camera over here, so your surround view monitor might be missing on this model, but for the Indian market, that is an essential need. One more thing, look at the door handles. They seem to be part of the body line. Very cool, again, very important to cut through air in a nice manner. And the rear profile of the vehicle again has the connected LED pattern. So inside the Volkswagen ID4, now for starters, this is basically a pure electric platform, a pure electric car, and that gives you a lot of plus points. For example, your floor over here is completely flat, and you can give more practical add-ons to the consumer. The seats, of course, they are powered. They are not leather, as you can make out. They are more of these suede material, and the cloth material should do well for the Indian market. Seats are powered, and for a driver of my height, I stand 6 feet tall, you can make out that in spite of the panoramic sunroof, which goes all the way to the back, I have a couple of inches of headroom left over here. A few cool things. This is the talking point on the inside. It's a huge 12-inch screen setup over here. Of course, you can have variety of functions coming in over here. For example, the charging, the battery left, and the kilometer range on offer. You can optimize the same as well by going into the menu option. On the other hand, this is a huge screen, but the speedometer console is more like a racing motorcycle. We've seen the same concept on the BYD offerings. Looks sporty in my opinion, and again you get a multitude of display functions to show you what is going on in the car. This is a proper flat bottom steering wheel, and these are sort of touch sensitive buttons. You don't have to press them properly, and the same thing can be seen on the functions over here. No physical button to press as such, but if you do this, the screen now is getting closed over there, and so everything works in sort of a soft touch option. A few more cool things. These are two cup holders over here, but if I want, I can actually take these out and have a huge storage space to myself. Likewise, space to keep your mobile right over here. This has a charging option and more space over here. So a pure EV architecture gives you more options to play around. I'll do one thing. I'll leave the driver's seat for my height. I'll go at the back to show you the amount of space. It's not a proper high SUV or a sedan, but a crossover. So space at the back. Let's go over there. Now, this, by the way, is the key of the ID4, and because it's a pure EV architecture, look at this, almost flat floor coming in over here. Again, sort of a soft touch panel for your AC controls, two AC vents, although it's an international version, but you have AC vents as standard. Not pure leather over here like the front seats. And last important thing, for a person of my height, I have this much of knee room left, so two tall people can definitely sit in the ID4, and the headroom is pretty good. One more talking point is the huge glass area on the ID4, adds a touch of premium appeal. Last but not the least, the boot space. So let's go to the boot of the ID4. As expected, the boot of the ID4 is not only huge, it is also powered from, as you saw right now, and this offers you a split option. You can even take this down. If you're driving with only two at the rear seat, you can take this down and access the boot area as well. Here is where your charging cable comes into the picture, and on both the sides I can see more amount of storage space over here and on the left side as well. So it's a pretty practical vehicle to be used for your luggage needs as well. And I'll just shut this and talk to you more about the battery packs and the versions that are offered internationally. Now, before I end, a look at the battery packs and the versions on offer. Internationally, it's sold in a variety of versions. There's a base standard, there is S, there is Pro, there is Pro Plus as well. There are two battery packs, a 58 kilowatt hour battery pack and a 77 kilowatt hour battery pack. Likewise, an option to take a single motor for the rear wheel drive or twin motors as an all wheel drive. A quick look at the other specifications: 200 bhp on a single motor and 295 on a dual motor or the all wheel drive. And that means it can sprint from 0 to 100 in 5.7 seconds. The only slight shortcoming is the certified range internationally. Even with a bigger battery pack, you don't get over 450 kilometers of range, and that could be a bit of a bummer for the Indian conditions. But nevertheless, as a CBU, as a start to show electrification from the Volkswagen Group, this is a good entrance into the premium electric space in the Indian market. And from the same event, we have more versions: the Volkswagen Taycan GT, standing right over here, GT line. Then you have the sport versions for the sedan, the Virtus, and for the Taycan. The videos are already live on my channel. Don't forget to watch them as well.